Order 66, an event that changed the entire galaxy. It could have actually happened an entire year earlier if things had happened right. I'll spill that tea on today's episode of Star Wars Nerds and Geeks.
I promise, I will never say that again.
I found this while rewatching The Clone Wars. In The Clone Wars, there's a 4-part series where Obi-Wan Kenobi goes undercover as a bounty hunter to stop a plot to kidnap the Chancellor. And in that series, at the end of it, I realized that Palpatine was actually trying to execute Order 66 during that series. That was the whole point of it. I was rewatching it, and you know how Palpatine always has a plan, how he's always setting things in motion? And almost every single thing that happens in the Clone Wars happens because Palpatine wants it to happen. And I was watching it and I was thinking, why on earth does Palpatine want himself to be kidnapped? Like, that doesn't make sense. What good would come from him being kidnapped? And then I realized in episode 3, Palpatine gets kidnapped, and that is what starts Anakin turning to the dark side. And so then I thought, wait, this could be the moment where Anakin gets turned to the dark side by Palpatine. This could actually be where Palpatine starts to try to turn Anakin to the dark side. And then I realized that if things had gone right, Palpatine would have turned Anakin to the dark side. And it's not just Palpatine being kidnapped that makes me think that. But when I was realizing that, I started going through the episodes again, and I started realizing a lot of things that Palpatine was doing. Palpatine, this entire series, whenever he was talking to Anakin, and he talked to Anakin a lot, and every single time that he talked to Anakin, he told Anakin all about how the Jedi Order doesn't trust Anakin, and how the Jedi Order is bad, and how Anakin should forget about the Jedi Order.
I must say, the lengths the Jedi will go to is nothing short of incredible. I assume the brilliant plan to disguise Obi-Wan Kenobi was yours?
No, it wasn't, sir. I was in the dark as much as you were.
Really? Interesting. I was under the impression the Jedi always worked as a team.
And he was making Anakin distrust the Jedi Order the entire episode, and this is exactly what Palpatine did in episode 3 to turn Anakin to the dark side. He's literally doing the exact same thing. So how would Anakin have turned to the dark side? Well, first off, Palpatine was filling Anakin's head with the fact that the Jedi do not trust him, and so therefore that Anakin should forego the Jedi and find somebody new to follow. And then second, what he does is he stages an attempt on his life, but Palpatine makes sure that the attempt fails. And when the attempt fails, all the Jedi, all the security, they all leave. And now it's just Palpatine alone with Anakin so that he can turn Anakin to the dark side. And then Palpatine, he knows that he's alone with Anakin, and he knows he can twist Anakin's mind to the dark side. So he tells Dooku to ambush them. And now Dooku is ambushing them, and Dooku is fighting Anakin, and it's just like episode 3. Dooku and Anakin are fighting, while Sidious sits by helplessly, and he's trying to turn Anakin to the dark side. And as Dooku and Anakin are dueling, what Palpatine wants is for Dooku to get defeated by Anakin, and then when Anakin defeats him, Palpatine will say, "Do it," and Anakin will kill Dooku. And then Palpatine will slowly use that to start turning Anakin to the dark side, and more, and he'll just keep on going and going and going, and just keep trying to turn Anakin to the dark side. But that event would have tipped Anakin over the edge, and Palpatine would have been able to turn Anakin to the dark side, just like it happened in episode 3. Everything would have unfolded just like what happened in episode 3. Except it would have happened an entire year earlier. You can already guess how this would lead to Order 66, but just like in episode 3, when Anakin turned to the dark side, Palpatine knows that he has the most powerful Jedi at the time on his side, and so now he can turn all the clones against their Jedi, and the clones all turn against the Jedi, and Order 66 would have happened, and all the Jedi would have been wiped out, and the Empire would have been created. Everything just like it happened in episode 3, just 1 year earlier. And the interesting thing about this is that at this time, first off, Ahsoka is still in the Jedi Order, and second off, the clones haven't discovered the chips in their head. So therefore, it makes sense that Order 66 would have been a lot more successful. Maybe Ahsoka would have died. Probably a lot of the clones wouldn't have been able to remove the chip since they didn't know that it was there. So therefore, much more of the clones would have executed Order 66. And so, if it had happened a year earlier like this, it may have been a lot more successful. Of course, there also would have been a lot more Jedi left alive to kill, but it would be more successful in my opinion. So, the interesting question now is why wasn't Palpatine able to turn Anakin to the dark side in this episode? And I got an answer for that. Because of Obi-Wan. That's right. Obi-Wan Kenobi kept Anakin on the light side without even realizing it. Unintentionally, he kept Anakin on the light side, which I think is pretty impressive. He didn't even think about it. He didn't even mean to do it. He just kept Anakin on the light side by being there. Palpatine didn't expect Obi-Wan to be there. Palpatine thought that Obi-Wan would have left with all the Jedi, but Obi-Wan felt like something was wrong, so he stayed behind, and thank goodness for Obi-Wan's instincts. Otherwise, Anakin may have turned to the dark side earlier. Order 66 may have been a lot worse. So Obi-Wan turns back, and he comes to the aid of Anakin, and now Anakin and Obi-Wan are helping to defeat Dooku. So even if they beat Dooku, they wouldn't have killed him, and therefore Palpatine would have been able to seduce Anakin to the dark side, because he wouldn't have killed him. And also Obi-Wan is there, so Palpatine would have been able to do anything anyways. The second reason is because Anakin wasn't strong enough to beat Dooku. We see in this duel that Dooku was actually kind of beating Anakin, so he just wouldn't have been able, Anakin would have been able to beat Dooku and in the end kill him, which would turn him to the dark side. He wouldn't have been able to because he wasn't strong enough. And the interesting thing I see from this is that Palpatine learns from his mistakes. He waits until Anakin's strong enough to beat Dooku before he sets up another one of these confrontations. And when one of these confrontations does happen, he makes sure that Obi-Wan is knocked out when Anakin kills Dooku, and he makes sure that Obi-Wan is on the other side of the galaxy when he tries to turn Anakin to the dark side. So, while this attempt to turn Anakin to the dark side and start Order 66 failed, it did teach Palpatine how to do it, and the best way to do it, and what not to do. So, though it failed, it ended up helping Palpatine in the end. And that's it. In a couple weeks, I'm posting a video about how Darth Maul actually kept Ezra Bridger on the light side. So stay tuned for that. And as always, this is Star Wars Nerds and Geeks signing off. See you all next time.